Scott Morrison and his comments on the incoming US president. He spoke about this relationship being a good and strong one, regardless of who is either in the White House or in the Lodge. Interesting to note, there was a question about phone calls. Joe Biden's first phone call will be Justin Trudeau, and after that it will be with friends and allies. So, of course, it's this question every single time, where are we in the pecking order? When will the call come to Scott Morrison down the order of nations, if you like?
Well, I don't think it'll take very long, Tom. And yeah, that was interesting. I imagine, for example, Jen Psaki, she looked a bit like CJ Craig there, I thought, from the West Wing. He's got an all-female communications team. She's a former communications director for Obama. She was saying we'll do allies and partners first before Putin. So obviously Morrison will get in before Vladimir Putin and their neighbour, geographical neighbour, Pierre Trudeau first. So, yeah, you'd think over the weekend, wouldn't you? And we'll get a briefing in relation to that. So that's something I'm sure Prime Minister Morrison's looking forward to.
Yeah, look, he also spoke as well what he described as already, and I just want to quote him here, "I appreciate the sort of very warm sentiment we're already getting back from the Biden administration." Whether there's been a reaching out the past few days, certainly you remember Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, just as that spat with China was ramping up over that tweet from a Chinese government official, if you like, saying we'll always stand with Australia, we appreciate what they've done standing up for the world and for sovereignty. Perhaps it's a new revelation, we're not sure, but already saying there's a warm sentiment coming back from the Biden administration. So also trying to counter, I guess, what Anthony Albanese was claiming, that cozying up to Donald Trump will hurt Scott Morrison now.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Albanese's doing his best, isn't he, to create some division in there and drive a wedge through. But really, I suspect Morrison will have a warm relationship with Joe Biden. Why wouldn't it be in both their interests to do so? And what was he supposed to do with Donald Trump? Not get on with him. So I think that'll be pretty seamless. I was just going to play you, Tom, this aspect of the inauguration address where Joe Biden specifically mentions, after the trouble of the past few weeks, a reassurance to world leaders and a world audience that America has its act together. Have a listen.
Look, folks, all my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here, we all understand the world is watching all of us today. So here's my message to those beyond our borders. America has been tested, and we've come out stronger for it. We will repair our alliances and engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's challenges. And we'll lead not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. We'll be a strong and trusted partner for peace, progress, and security.
So a couple of other interesting announcements too in the White House spokeswoman's press conference, including rejoining the World Health Organization. He signed off on that executive order straight away. So trying to get that on an even keel as they deal with the pandemic. That's certainly a different approach to Donald Trump. Domestically, Tom, Labor's still having a bit of a niggle. Have a look at this tweet from the Labor front bencher, Jason Clare, who's, just saying, well, Trump got kicked off Twitter. Great to see the president back on Twitter. Bit cheeky there from Jason Clare. From the Labor point of view, as anti-Trump as they are, works for them. Scott Morrison has a bit of a finer balance because I think there are some Trump supporters still in Australia, although over the past few weeks, I'm sure that's waned quite a bit, given Trump's failure to concede and the violence at the Capitol. But he has to be a bit more careful with his words. I think it was significant, though, that he talked to Pompeo and Pence and not Trump on the way out. He's really got to look to the future now, as Scott Morrison.
Look, I think we're entitled to be cynical about whether or not Scott Morrison withheld personal criticism for Donald Trump and perhaps thought there are some Trump supporters here, and if he can get their support, without obviously still saying Donald Trump, acted well in the past few weeks. Well, so be it. It's always a political calculation. There's always votes. But at the same time,
totally.
it would be very curious for Joe Biden to snub Scott Morrison, given his regime his administration is going to continue to want to try to counter the aggression of China. While he wants to do that and reach out to world leaders, to snub Scott Morrison just because Morrison managed to, find a way to deal with Donald Trump. Everybody gets that Donald Trump was capricious. You had to sort of leverage whatever you could, even if you were holding your nose while you could do it. It would just seem strange for Joe Biden to decide that, Scott Morrison's off the invite list, if you like.
Yeah, there'll be no problem there. I agree with you, Tom. The other issue you spoke about earlier was spin. And this presentation by Jen Psaki, where she's saying that, they're going to be about truth, having a shot at Donald Trump's administration. Now, all these spinners BS. We know that. I mean, let's not make any let's not make any bones about that. That's what we monitor and try and call out for a living, no matter which politician they work for. But I suppose there is an argument Donald Trump took it to a new level. And when I was on leave, I read Bob Woodward's book Rage on Trump. He spoke about this situation where Trump advisors admitted to him that they made an untruthful statement when they said America's economy is in the best shape it's ever been in. Now, the American economy was in very good shape before COVID-19, but that statement they knew to be wrong. However, they continued to perpetuate it because they knew that would be a headline grabber, whereas if you just said, oh, the economy's going brilliantly, it wouldn't capture the attention. So you still get the message across, you exaggerate who's really going to call you on it. And that was really what Trumpism was. And it was very successful, the spin of Donald Trump. And now I guess Biden's people will say that they will be lily white, no spinner ever is. But it'll be interesting to see if any of those tactics remain. Because, I mean, Trump says, I'm not going anywhere. We're still going to be around. He got a lot of votes. Yeah. How will the Republicans play things? Will the Biden people have to, go for some Trump-style tactics eventually?